Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. It is Tuesday, November 8th. Again, second time today I'm joining you. This time not a quick cast, a wrap up of Purdue's opener of the 2022 basketball season. It's 9:19 p.m. Hope you're well. Hope you got to watch the game either in person or on the television. Very interesting. Color commentary was old Purdue assistant coach Bruce Weber after being forced out at Kansas State. Sounds different. Sounds like a guy that isn't hoarse all the time. Doesn't have a great voice. Wouldn't say it's a voice made for radio by any means. Sounds a bit like me. Not a very good voice, but Purdue wins 84-53 over Milwaukee in their home opener. They start 1-0 for the 10th straight time. Success is something Purdue fans have come to be accustomed to, especially in the early season tune-ups. Let's talk about it, but first let me thank our sponsors. Thanks to Martin Vintage. Head over to martinvintage.com where you can get a soft, comfortable t-shirt with some Purdue graphics. If you enter Boiled at checkout, you get 15% off. You just missed a free shipping weekend, I think, but that's over. I got some new stuff. Check them out. Also, when you're on campus, go over to AJ's on Vine, eatajs.com. You can order ahead and get some stuff that's delicious and good for you, make you grow up big and strong, like your pal Boiler Dowd. Okay, maybe not strong, but big, definitely. EatAJs.com. So let's talk a little bit about the game. Here's what I saw. I'll talk about the things that I saw versus we'll look at stats as well. Purdue is a very different team than last year, okay? And so in the first half, I was just enjoying the pace that Braden Smith plays with. He plays an extremely attacking style of basketball. He does not look like a freshman. Many of you didn't get to watch the exhibition game versus Truman State. Didn't get to see him play. He actually looked faster and more the part tonight versus Milwaukee even than he did versus Truman State. He really was looking, I don't know if he's just, I think this is what he is his MO. He's just a guy doesn't have a half speed. When he hits the gas, with the ball, he's as quick as anybody I can remember, save maybe Lou Jack. As a point guard, obviously Jaden Ivey was fast. Carson Edwards was fast. But this is a different level of like instant speed, more like Carson Edwards really, but he's the point guard, so the ball's always in his hands. He also is extremely aggressive on defense. He had 7 steals, which I think tied a Purdue record, which is amazing. There's going to be a lot of records going down over the next few years. I'll talk about another one that I think will go down eventually. But Braden Smith was extremely impressive. He had 7 points, 7 steals, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. He had, I think, 0 turnovers a couple minutes into the second half, along with 3 or 4 assists at that point. Also had 4 rebounds. I don't know if I said that. Was 4 for 4 from the free throw line, only 1 for 4 from 3, only 1 for 6 from the field. But very good debut for Braden Smith. Zach Edey didn't have the scoring production that I think anybody thought he'd have. I think a lot of us thought he'd get up there near and he'd flirt with 20 points. Instead, he missed a bunch of layups, but it wasn't all lost. It wasn't a bad thing because Edey obviously doesn't have a physical, like with many teams early in the season. With Milwaukee, he didn't really have a physical counterpart on the other side that was like him. He was attacking the glass. He was attacking the rim. The most noteworthy stat for Edey tonight is 17 rebounds, which maybe I'm wrong. You guys can correct me, but I think that's his career high in rebounds. And then even better than that, again, the defense was incredible. He had 6 block shots, only 1 turnover, really solid game. And I think he also had a couple assists out of the post. His old buddy Travion had been working with him for the last couple of years, and he had a couple out of the block. Looked pretty darn solid. The other guy that got the Mackey Arena crowd really into it, of course, was Fletcher Lawyer. Fletch had 17 points. I think most of them were in the second half. He was 5 for 12 from 3. He got really hot. I think he hit 3 or 4 in a row early in the second half. Really put Milwaukee out of the game effectively. Purdue went up by 34, 36 points right in there. Can't remember. I don't have a game tracker in front of me, but I know this is another one of those records that I think will fall. I think Lawyer, when he gets hot, he's a ton of fun to watch, but who's to say we won't see like a 10 3-point game, 10 3-pointer game from Lawyer at some point. If you watch him play in high school, boy, he can shoot, and this whole Purdue team can score. Trey Kaufman-Renn is another guy that I loved watching. He had 7 rebounds. I love the way he seeks out contact. He really looks like a guy that just wants to mix it up with people. And when he and First, with that second unit, came in, First hit a couple threes. I think he just had 1 3-pointer, but he finished with 8 points. Also had 2 blocks and a steal. But those two guys are really interesting because of the matchup problems they have. They make teams decide which one of them you're going to play. One Twitter commenter had a good point. They said, is it amazing to you how cohesive this team looks? Is it amazing how good their chemistry looks to you? And it is to me, especially with the fact you had so many of these guys not practicing the entire summer. Remember, there were guys playing with an unusual Team USA overseas. You had some guys injured, a couple guys that were sick. Also, by the way, Gillis and Morton both had 7 points. Nobody really, let's see. Yeah, nobody really lit the thing on fire. It wasn't an exceptional shooting night, but at about the 10-minute mark, Purdue found another gear and just flew past Milwaukee. Milwaukee is not a program that is a great team by any means. They're in a bit of a rebuild. They've got a new coach this year. They got Manute Bull's cousin or nephew. I couldn't remember what it was, but that's interesting factoid. But he's nowhere near as tall as Manute. Anyway, it was a fun game to watch. Good first game, a good tune-up, and Purdue starts off 1-0. I'm going to see if there's anybody on here live. Travis Mosley says, I think this team might be a Matt Painter special. I think, Travis, what he's talking about there is that this team looks a lot like a prototypical Matt Painter team, a team that not a lot of people give a lot of respect to, a team that has that defensive edge, probably the biggest thing that we saw tonight, a team that the defense creates offense. They're also scrappy, gritty, if you want to say, and I mean they play with a lot of fire straight across the board. I mean, Purdue was up 30 points. I saw 2 guys diving for a loose ball in the same play at one point, which is a great sign. It's a very different mentality from last year's team, which seemed to have a bit of complacency in them when they would get up by a significant amount. Purdue had a bit of a drought at one point in the second half with about 7 minutes left, where I think they were up by 30. They were stuck on, I want to say, 70 points. And instead of just kind of lulling themselves to sleep and letting Milwaukee get it within 20 points, they kept batting Milwaukee back. And even though they weren't hitting a lot of shots at that point, and they put together just a convincing victory. It's not a lot to say you beat Milwaukee badly. I enjoyed watching the style of play, though. I was tweeting out in the first half especially. I love this squad. I love the style of play. This is, I think, Purdue fans, and this is what Travis is probably talking about. It's like what I think as Purdue fans, this is comfort food to us. This is what we expect. Last year was a little different. That team turned the ball over a ton. That team had defensive lapses. They had mental lapses, but they were incredibly talented. This year, they may not have that talent, but I think it'd be kind of foolish to sell them short and say this isn't a talented team. You've got, like they showed on the graphics tonight, you've got a former Mr. Basketball in Indiana, another former Mr. Basketball in Indiana runner-up. That says a lot. Still a talent-rich state. And on top of that, you've got just guys that are just, I want to say, mean as hell. They play a game that I think Purdue fans are going to love. Boiler in Texas says, tuned in late, love the energy, love this team, very excited about Lawyer Smith pairing up for years to come. Yeah, and if you missed any of the first half or the second part of the first half, really Purdue started off kind of sluggish. Game was a little bit close in the beginning. And then Purdue just started kind of playing with a different pace. And most of that was really the result of Braden Smith's energy, his speed. He is very fast with the ball. I don't know, we'll learn a lot about him. Like Jaden Ivey's top end speed, obviously, the ability for him to take those ginormous strides and just get down the court quickly was incredible. And of course, Carson Edwards was extremely quick and great athlete. So I'm trying to put it in terms we all understand. Lewis Jackson also very quick with the ball, but Smith is a different sort of quick. Maybe you guys can, in the comments, you can talk a little bit about it to each other. Maybe I can start figuring out what he is, and we're gonna know versus better competition what he really is. But I can tell you one thing. Here's what I think he's going to be. With 7 steals right out of the gate, he's going to be a guy that opponents' fan bases are just going to hate, and we are going to love him. The easy comparisons to Chris Kramer are there. He's number 3. He's a white guy. He plays guard, but he's also an athletic guy like Kramer. He's very quick with the ball like Kramer. Not, of course, as tall as Kramer. I think Kramer's 6'4". Smith is listed at 6 feet, probably a little bit under that. But he looks like he should be the starter. He looks like a guy that does not look like a freshman at all. Very impressive debut for Braden Smith. Regardless of the competition, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We're just over 10 minutes. I just wanted to give a quick post-game. Last year I did the post-games all this way. We didn't really write posts just because it's simpler to do it all on the fly, gather the information, and give some instant feedback. Let us know what you think of it. If you miss the old-timey articles or posts, that's fine. But what we're finding is people just ingest information this way. It's a lot easier for you guys. I enjoy it. I like doing it this way. And for me, since I'm barely literate, it's much easier to just talk into a camera and be handsome than it is to write an article. So Boiler in Texas has another comment. Purdue finally gets our own Aaron Kraft type of dude where he's as tough as nails and it'll feel like he's been at Purdue for a decade. I think it's a good comparison as well. I think Kraft also is a little bit taller than Smith, I believe. The thing that we didn't see tonight is that Braden Smith can jump. I mean, like I said this the other night versus Truman State. He is a really, really good athlete. His ability to get up quickly is pretty impressive for a guy his height. So he's got springs, and we're just gonna enjoy watching him. That's about it. I think Purdue plays again in a couple days. I don't have the schedule in front of me. Let me look at it. I don't want to get one of these autoplay things where it just punishes me for looking at the schedule. But I'm gonna wade into the water here. Yeah, Purdue play on the 11th versus Austin Peay. That'll be another fun one. Good one. I am a big fan of watching Purdue win games convincingly. I know a lot of Purdue fans just like the competition. I would much rather see Purdue just be on cruise control and beat the living hell out of a team, especially actually any game. Any game. Purdue never had a close game again. I'd be happy with it. So, but that was fun. So that's about it. Hammer down to you and yours. Have a great evening. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.